Today I'm going to make pasta fagioli, or pasta fagioli, however you want to say it. I've started with, I've cut up 4 slices of bacon, and I've got them cooking in a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and we're going to let them get slightly browned. And to that, we're going to add 1 large sweet onion, which I have chopped up, and 1 clove of garlic. So we're going to saute that together, and then we're going to let it get soft, and to that we're going to add 4 cups of water, 2 cups of ditalini pasta, 2 cans of cannellini beans, and a can of tomatoes. So we're going to watch our bacon, and as the bacon starts to cook, we're going to add the onions. But you don't want to add the onions too soon, because if the bacon isn't really cooked enough, the moisture from the onions is going to take away from the crispiness of the bacon, which adds really a lot of flavor to this recipe. I started making this years and years ago, but one of the stories about this recipe is I used to sell real estate in Fairfield and Westport, Connecticut. And on certain days of the week, we would have what they called broker inspections. And the brokers would all come out and inspect your property. And whenever I would do a broker inspection, I would always include a lunch. And people would come and absolutely rave over this soup. They would say to me, that's the only reason I came today. But anyway, let's get back to the recipe. So the bacon's cooking. I'm going to add the onions. I've chopped them. They don't have to be chopped up really fine. This is really a peasant Italian recipe. Add a little bit of salt to that, which softens the onions and brings out the flavor. And then my garlic. And we're just going to let that cook down for a minute. We'll let the onions become translucent and soft, so we're not chomping on crunchy onions when we're eating our soup. So the onions and the garlic and the bacon have cooked down. So to that, I'm going to add 4 cups of water. And then to that, I'm also going to add 2 cups of ditalini pasta. And what we're going to do is we're just going to let that cook on like medium for a few minutes. And then we're going to add our other ingredients once the pasta starts to get a little bit softened. Okay, so the water has somewhat come to a boil, so I've now added my can of tomatoes and my 2 cans of cannellini beans. And to that, I'm also going to add some frozen chopped basil. And I find this stuff to be just wonderful. If you're doing something at the last minute and you didn't buy basil, keep this in your freezer and you've always got fresh tasting basil. I mean, you certainly can't use it in a dish that you want to display basil, but certainly for something like this with flavoring, it works great. So we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this, and while this is cooking, we're going to make some garlic bread to go along with this. Okay, so we're going to give it a stir, put it down to a medium-low heat, and let it simmer for a while. So now I'm going to make my garlic butter that we're going to use for the garlic bread that we're going to serve with our pasta fagioli. So in here I have about a half a stick of unsalted room temperature butter. And to that I'm going to add some fresh basil and pour some garlic. I've got 2 cloves of garlic here. I'm going to just slightly cut, put that in there. A little pinch of salt and my chopped basil. And what we're going to do is give it a spin, and then we're going to put this on the bottom of our bread and put some cheese on top and put it in the broiler, and it's delicious. It turns a nice green color. And I use this for lots of things, not just for garlic bread. Okay. So you can see how nice and green it is. So we're going to come over here and we're going to just put it on I have a loaf of ciabatta bread that I have sliced the long way. So we're going to put the garlic butter on here first. And then we're going to just add some cheese to it. Put it in the broiler and watch it bubble. And we have delicious garlic bread. You can add a little olive oil to this if you want. Give it even some more moisture. This really smells great when it comes out. Okay, so now we're going to add some cheese. This is shredded mozzarella. It's almost sort of like a little bit of a pizza. I've actually used this basil butter, garlic butter on the bottom of my pizzas when I've made pizzas as well. And here I have some grated Romano cheese. That kind of just gives the top a little bit of browning. A little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to stick it in the broiler. Got to keep an eye on it and make sure that it doesn't burn. Maybe 5 minutes and we will have a nice garlic bread to serve with our pasta fagioli. So the garlic bread is out of the oven and you can see how nice and crispy it is and how lightly brown the cheese is. And our soup is ready. So I'm going to add a little bit of grated cheese to my soup. And I'm just going to have a taste. Now this is really delicious the next day as well. I can taste the bacon. The beans are nicely cooked and everything is perfect. Let's take a taste of my famous garlic bread. I can taste the basil, the garlic, and the cheese. So it's a great combination for a last-minute quick meal.